Hare Krishna, and we are continuing with Śrī Īśopaniṣad, the book by His Divine Grace Srila A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada, page number 34, mantra 6. Yastu sarvani bhutani atmanyevanupashyati sarva bhuteshu chatmanam tato na vijugupsate. Yah, a person, tu, but, sarvani, all, bhutani, living entities, atmani, in relation with the Supreme Lord, eva, only, anupashyati, observes in a systematic way, sarva bhuteshu, in every living being, cha, and, atmanam, the Supreme Supersoul, the Supersoul. Tata, thereafter, na, not, vijugupsate, hates everyone. Translation: a person who sees everything in relation to the Supreme Lord and sees all entities as his parts and parcels, and who sees the Supreme Lord within everything, never hates anything, nor any being. Purport: here is an explanation of the Mahabhagavata, the great personality who sees everything in relation to the Supreme Personality of Godhead. There are 3 stages of realizing the presence of the Supreme Lord. First, the Kanishta Adhikari, the person who is in the lowest stage of realization of the Lord, goes to one place of worship, such as temple, church, or mosque, in terms of his particular faith, type of religious faith, and worships there in terms of the scriptural injunctions. Such devotees think that the Lord is there at the place of worship and nowhere else. Such devotees cannot recognize who is in what position in the devotional line or in terms of realization of the Supreme Lord. They follow the routine formulas and sometimes quarrel among themselves, estimating one particular type of worship better than another. These Kanishta Adhikaris in the lowest stage of devotion are called materialistic devotees, or those just trying to transcend the material boundary to reach the spiritual plane. Next, above these Kanishta Adhikaris are the Madhyam Adhikaris, the devotees who are in the intermediate stage of devotional service. These Madhyam Adhikaris observe 4 principles in relation to the Supreme Lord, which are as follows. 1. They see, first of all, the Supreme Lord. 2. They see next the devotees of the Lord. 3. They see also the innocent who have no knowledge about God. And at last, 4. They see the atheists who have no faith in the Lord and who hate those in the devotional line. The Madhyam Adhikari devotee behaves differently toward the different above-mentioned 4 principles. He adores the Lord, considering Him the object of love, and he makes friendship with those who are in the devotional line. He tries to awaken the dormant love of Godhead in the hearts of the innocent people. But he does not approach the atheists, who deride at the very name of the Lord. Above the Madhyam Adhikari, there is the Uttama Adhikari devotee, who sees everything in relation to the Supreme Lord. He does not make any particular discrimination between the atheist and the theist, but sees in every one of them the part and parcel of God. He knows that there is no difference between a vastly learned Brahmana and a dog in the street, because both of them are of the Lord, though in different embodiments, due to the different qualities of material action. The Brahmana particle of the Supreme Lord has not misused the little independence given to him by the Lord, but the dog particle has misused his independence, and thus he has been punished by the law of nature, being encaged in the ignorant form of a dog. Without considering the respective actions of the Brahmana and the dog, the Uttama Adhikari tries to do good for both. Such a learned devotee of the Lord is not misled by the material bodies of the Brahmana and the dog, but he is attracted by the spiritual spark within the respective entities. Those who imitate an Uttamadhikari in terms of the sense of oneness or fellowship, but who behave in terms of bodily relationships, are false philanthropists. Therefore, the concept of universal brotherhood must be learned from the Uttamadhikari devotee of the Lord, and not from a foolish person who has no proper vision of the individual soul and of the supersoul, the planetary expansion of the Supreme Lord, which dwells everywhere. In this mantra of Śrī Īśopaniṣad, it is clearly mentioned that one should observe or see. This means one must follow the previous acharya, the perfected teacher. Anupashyati is the exact Sanskrit word used in this connection. Anu means to observe. One should not try to see things as he does with the naked eye. The naked eye cannot see anything properly due to its material defectiveness. One cannot see properly unless one has heard from a superior source. And the highest source is the Vedic wisdom spoken by the Lord himself. This truth is coming in disciplic succession from the Lord to Brahma, from Brahma to Narada, from Narada to Vyasa, and from Vyasa to many of his disciples. Formerly, there was no necessity of recording the message of the Vedas, because people of earlier ages were more intelligent and had sharper memories, and they could follow instructions simply by hearing once from the mouth of a bona fide spiritual master. At present, there are many commentaries on the revealed scriptures, but most of them are not in the line of Srila Vyasadeva, who originally taught the Vedic wisdom. The final, most perfect and sublime work of Srila Vyasadeva is the Srimad Bhagavatam, which is the correct commentary on the Vedanta Sutra. Similarly, there is the Bhagavad Gita, which is spoken by the Lord himself, and which does not by the Lord himself, and which was recorded by Vyasadeva. These are the more important of the many revealed scriptures, and any commentary which does not conform to the principles of the Gita or the Srimad Bhagavatam is unauthorized. There is complete symmetrical agreement between the Upanishads, Vedanta, the Vedas, the Bhagavad Gita, and the Srimad Bhagavatam. Jai! Therefore, no one should try to reach any conclusion about the Vedas without being instructed by members in the line of Vyasadeva, or at least those who believe in the personality of Godhead and His diverse energies. Only one who is already in the liberated status, according to the Bhagavad Gita, can become an Uttamadhikari devotee and can see everyone or every living being as his own brother. This cannot be seen by politicians who are always after some material gain. Imitation of this liberated status is to serve the outward body for fame or some reward, but is not the service to the Supreme Lord, to the Spirit Soul. Such imitators have no information of the spiritual world. The Uttama Adhikari sees the Spirit Soul of an entity and serves him as spirit, which includes matter automatically. Jai. We have completed mantra 6. Jai. I pray and hope that these key points about the 3 different levels of devotees, or 3 different levels of spiritual realization really, goes through, because many times we see different kinds of religious people or spiritual people, and we don't need to judge all spirituality by, say, Kanishtha-adhikaris who don't really know how to discriminate between devotees and the atheists and the innocent, and they don't know how to behave properly, how to see the Lord everywhere. And also this point how the Vedas, there is the cyclic succession, how to properly understand the Vedas, and you can find so many different purports of Bhagavad Gita and Srimad Bhagavatam, but unless it is in line with the original author, with the Supreme Lord, then how can you really derive the actual benefit, right? And of course how in earlier days people had sharper memories, so there are no records of books like 10,000 years ago. 5,000 years ago, yes, they were recorded, because Kali Yuga, our age, was coming, so people had lesser and lesser facilities and abilities to remember. And finally, the last point is that this sense of oneness based only on the outward body, which excludes the spirit soul, is it's not actually the reality. It's not the way to see everyone as your own brother and achieve universal brotherhood. But when, the Uttamadhikari, he sees the spirit soul, everyone as a spirit soul, it includes matter automatically. It's not like we don't discriminate at all, in the sense that no intelligence, right? He sees the dog, the brahmana, the elephant, the cow, their spirit soul, but you will serve him as a spirit. It will include matter automatically. Jai. Such an important verse. I mean, every single verse is like a treasure house of meaning, and you can actually go on and on discussing more and more. And I'm sure each one of you who heard this verse, you have your own realizations and you have your own points to remember from this beautiful purport and the verse itself. And I'm actually so happy and so grateful that Īśopaniṣad has attracted so much attention, and amazed how intelligent the audience is. Yes, so thank you so much for tuning in today, and we shall see you in the next episode tomorrow with mantra 7. So Hare Krishna. you.